We finished 11, right?
Yes, Maharaj, we finished 11.
So we're 12, 13.
Yeah, 12, 13.
Okay. Are you ready? Hare Krishna, my dear devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Today we are hearing from Bhagavad Gita as it is by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And we're reading from chapter 10, verse number 13. Verse number text numbers 12 and 13. Arjuna Uvacha, Param Brahma Param Dhamma, Pavicham Paramam Bhavam, Purusham Sasvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum, Ahustvam Rishaya Sarve, Devasir Naradastata, Asito Devulo Vyasa, Swayam Chaiva Pravisime. Arjuna said, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages, such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa, confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me. Well, that's very, very profound text. And also in the Bhagavad Gita, 11th chapter, 54th verse, it says, text 1154 says, I now fully understand that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the absolute truth, and that you are the refuge of everything. So here, over and over again, Krishna is being validated by his devotee. And that's very important because Arjuna is directly seeing and talking with Krishna. And therefore, he has firsthand information of who Krishna actually is. He doesn't have to speculate about Krishna. It's not equivocal in any way. He knows exactly who Krishna is, and he's stating unabashedly that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why he says, Param Brahma, Arjuna Uvacha, Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavicham Paramam Bhavam, Purusham Sasvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhu, Ahustvam Rishaya Sarve Devasir Naradastata, Asito Devalo Vyasa, Swayam Traiva Bhavishime. Arjuna said, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages, such as Narada and Asita, Devala, and Vyasa, confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me. So this is unequivocal. So Arjuna has first-hand relationship with Krishna. He's seeing him and he's talking with him, and he knows exactly who Krishna is, and he is unabashedly explaining the glories of Krishna. That means that he is a pure devotee of the Lord. Purport. In these two verses, the Supreme Lord gives a chance to the modern philosopher For here it is clear that the Supreme is different from the individual soul. And why is Prabhupada writing that? Well, because the modern philosophers are all speculators. And they speculate Krishna so much that they finally think that Krishna is an ordinary person like them. In other words, they try and bring Krishna down to their level of being mundane. But no, not Arjuna. Arjuna is boldly declaring who Krishna is. In the Bhagavad Gita 11:55, Arjuna also says, I now fully understand that you, this is 11th chapter, 54th verse, I now fully understand that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the absolute truth, and that you are the refuge of everyone, or of everything. So, no equivocation, unabashedly, Arjuna understands Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram Paramam Bhavam, Purusham Sastvatam Divyam, Adidevam, Ajam Vibhum, Ahustvam Vishaya Sarve Devasir Naradastata, Asito Devalo Vyasa, Swayam Shaiva Bhavishime. Arjuna said, O Krishna, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me. So this is very important. 2 verses, that is chapter 10, text 12 and 13. Arjuna is unequivocally saying that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We should follow Arjuna because he has direct association with Krishna. So he knows who Krishna is, and he's explaining to us also who Krishna is. Purport. In these 2 verses, the Supreme Lord gives a chance to the modern philosopher. For here it is clear that the Supreme is different from the individual soul. Arjuna, after hearing the essential 4 verses of Bhagavad Gita in this chapter, became completely free from all doubts and accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He at once boldly declares, you are Param Brahma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And previously, Krishna stated that he is the originator of everything and everyone. Every demigod and every human being is dependent on him. Men and demigods, out of ignorance, think that they are absolute and independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That ignorance is removed perfectly by the discharge of devotional service. This has already been explained in the previous verse by the Lord. Now, by his grace, Arjuna is accepting him as the supreme truth in concordance with the Vedic injunction. It is not that because that Krishna is Arjuna's intimate friend, and Arjuna is flattering him by calling him the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the absolute truth. Whatever Arjuna says in these 2 verses is confirmed by Vedic truth. Vedic injunctions affirm that only one who takes to devotional service, only one who takes to devotional service to the Supreme Lord can understand him, meaning Krishna, whereas others cannot. Each and every word of this verse spoken by Arjuna is confirmed by Vedic injunction. In the Kena Upanishad, it is stated that the Supreme Brahman is the rest for everything. And Krishna has already explained that everything is resting on him, in Krishna. The Mundaka Upanishad confirms that the Supreme Lord, in whom everything is resting, can be realized only by those who engage constantly in thinking of him. This constant thinking of Krishna is smaranam, one of the methods of devotional service. It is only by devotional service to Krishna that one can understand his position, meaning his own position or Arjuna's position, and get rid of this material body. Well, what is our position? We're all subordinate to Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we are all the servants of the Lord's. If we maintain that understanding, we will engage in devotional service to Krishna with love and devotion and become qualified to go back to the spiritual world where only genuine devotees of the Lord can go. In the Kena Upanishad, it is stated that the Supreme Brahman is the rest for everything. In other words, the Supreme Brahman is maintaining everything. And Krishna has already explained that everything is resting on him. The Mundaka Upanishad confirms that the Supreme Lord, in whom everything is resting, can be realized only by those who engage constantly in thinking of him. This constant thinking of Krishna is smaranam, one of the methods of devotional service. It is only by devotional service to Krishna that one can understand his position, meaning his own position, and get rid of this material body. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. So this Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, this hearing and repeating, and Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, and remembering. This is the process of developing love and devotion for Krishna. Therefore, it says, the Mundaka Upanishad confirms that the Supreme Lord, in whom everything is resting, can be realized only by those who engage constantly in thinking of him. This constant thinking of Krishna is smaranam, one of the methods of devotional service. It is only by devotional service to Krishna that one can understand his position and get rid of this material body. In the Vedas, the Supreme Lord is accepted as the purest of the pure. One who understands that Krishna is the purest of the pure can become purified from all sinful activities. One cannot be disinfected from sinful activities unless he surrenders unto the Supreme Lord. Arjuna's acceptance of Krishna as the Supreme Pure complies with the injunctions of the Vedic literature. This is also confirmed by great personalities, of whom Narada is the chief. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and one should always meditate upon him and enjoy one's transcendental relationship with him. He is the supreme existence. He is free from bodily needs, birth, and death. Not only does Arjuna confirm this, but all the Vedic literatures, the Puranas and histories, in all Vedic literatures, Krishna is thus described, and the Supreme Lord himself also says in the 4th chapter, although I am unborn, I appear on this earth to establish religious principles. He is the supreme origin. He has no cause, for he is the cause of all causes, and everything is emanating from him. This perfect knowledge can be had by the grace of the Supreme Lord. Here, Arjuna expresses himself through the grace of Krishna. If we want to understand Bhagavad Gita, we should accept the statement of these two verses. This is called parampara system, acceptance of the disciplic succession. Unless one is in the disciplic succession, he cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. It is not possible by so-called academic education. Unfortunately, those proud of their academic education, despite so much evidence in Vedic literatures, stick to their obstinate conviction that Krishna is an ordinary person. That, of course, is nonsense. It's not true. Krishna is the Supreme Personality Godhead. So, therefore, it's very clearly said that one cannot understand Krishna by academic knowledge. Doesn't work. Why? Because the academics don't accept that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They think he's a mundane person, maybe just a little bit more intelligent than others, but he's definitely not God in their, let's say, thought, their understanding. So that's why Krishna cannot be understood by academic knowledge. One must have spiritual knowledge and faith in spiritual knowledge. Academic knowledge is not perfect. Spiritual knowledge is perfect. So therefore it says it is not possible by so-called academic knowledge. Unfortunately, so unless one is in the disciplic succession, he cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. It is not possible by so-called academic knowledge. Unfortunately, those proud of their academic education, despite so much evidence in Vedic literatures, stick to their obstinate conviction that Krishna is an ordinary person. They should all be condemned. They are condemned because they will never go back to Godhead with such fake news in their brains. Text 14. Sarvamitadritam manye yanmam vadasikeshava ahite bhagavan vyaktim vidur deva nadanava. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. So now this is a verse that we should memorize because it's showing our absolute faith in Krishna. Purport. Arjuna herein confirms that persons of faithless and demoniac nature cannot understand Krishna. He is not known even by the demigod. What to speak of the so-called scholars of this modern world? By the grace of the Supreme Lord, Arjuna has understood the supreme truth is Krishna. He's understood that the supreme truth is Krishna, and that he is the perfect one. One should therefore follow the path of Arjuna. He received the authority of Bhagavad Gita, as described in the 4th chapter. The parampara system of disciplic succession for the understanding of Bhagavad Gita was lost, and therefore Krishna reestablished that disciplic succession with Arjuna because he considered Arjuna his intimate friend and a great devotee. Even though Arjuna was a warrior, still he was a friend of Krishna, an intimate friend, and a great devotee. Therefore, stated in our introduction to Gita Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita should be understood in the parampara system. When the parampara system was lost, Arjuna was selected to rejuvenate it. The acceptance by Arjuna of all that Krishna says should be emulated. In other words, we should believe whatever Krishna says. Then we can understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita, and then only can we understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, we're being recommended in this text to follow the path of Arjuna. Will never be misled. Text 15. Swayam evatmanatmanam veta tvam purushottama bhuta bhavana bhute sa deva deva jagatpate. That's a very nice verse, text 15, chapter 10, text 15. Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency, O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe. Just see how much knowledge and love Arjuna has for Krishna. He calls him God of all gods, Lord of the universe, the origin of all, Lord of all beings, O Supreme Person. Nobody can speak like that unless they're completely in love with Krishna and have genuine knowledge of Krishna. Purport. The Supreme Lord, Krishna, can be known by persons who are in a relationship with him through the discharge of devotional service, like Arjuna and his followers. Persons of demonic or atheistic mentality cannot know Krishna. Mental speculation that leads one away from the Supreme Lord is a serious sin, and one who does not know Krishna should not try to comment on Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is the statement of Krishna, and since it is the science of Krishna, it should be understood from Krishna as Arjuna understood it. It should not be received from atheistic persons. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.11, Vedantita Tattvavidas Tattvam Yaj Gyanam Advayam Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavan Iti Sabhyate. The supreme truth is realized in three aspects: as impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and at last as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So at the last stage of understanding the absolute truth, one comes to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A common man, or even a liberated man, who has realized impersonal Brahman or localized Paramatma, may not understand God's personality. Such men, therefore, may endeavor to understand the Supreme Person from the verses of Bhagavad Gita, which are being spoken by this person, Krishna. Sometimes the impersonalists accept Krishna as Bhagavan, or they accept his authority. Yet, many liberated persons cannot understand Krishna as Purushottama, the Supreme Person. Therefore, Arjuna addresses him as Purushottama. Yet, one still may not understand that Krishna is the Father of all living entities. Therefore, Arjuna addresses him as Bhuta Bhavana. And if one comes to know him as the Father of all living entities, still one may not know him as the Supreme Controller. Therefore, he is addressed here as Bhutesa, the Supreme Controller of everyone. So he is Bhuta Bhavana Bhutesa. And even if one knows Krishna as the Supreme Controller of all living entities, still one may not know that he is the origin of all demigods. Therefore, he is addressed herein as Deva Deva, the God of all gods, the worshipful God of all demigods. And even if one knows him as the worshipful God of all of demigods, one may not know that he is the supreme proprietor of everything. Therefore, he is addressed as Jagatpati, Thus, the truth about Krishna is established in this verse by the realization of Arjuna, and we should follow in the footsteps of Arjuna to understand Krishna as he is. So, therefore, we can consider the following statements about Krishna, that Arjuna addresses him as Purushottama, yet one still may not understand that Krishna is the father of all living entities. Therefore, Arjuna addresses him as Bhuta Bhavana, and if one comes to know him as the father of all living entities, still one may not know him as the supreme controller. Therefore, he is addressed here as Bhutesa, the supreme controller of everyone. And even if one knows Krishna as the supreme controller of all living entities, still one may not know that he is the origin of all demigods. Therefore, he is addressed herein as Deva Deva, the worshipful God of all demigods. And even if one knows him as the worshipful God of all demigods, one may not know that he is the supreme proprietor of everything. Therefore, he is addressed as Jagatpati. Thus, the truth about Krishna is established in this verse by the realization of Arjuna, and we should follow in the footsteps of Arjuna to understand Krishna as he is. So, therefore, he is Purushottama, the supreme person, and he is also Bhuta Bhavana, father of all living entities. And he is also named as Bhutesa, supreme controller of everyone. And he is also Deva Deva, the worshipful God of all demigods. And also, is known as the supreme proprietor of everything. Therefore, he's addressed as Jagatpati. Thus, the truth about Krishna is established in this verse by the realization of Arjuna, and we should follow in the footsteps of Arjuna to understand Krishna as he is. So, as Bhagavan, Purushottama, Bhuta Bhavana, Bhutesa, Deva Deva, Jagatpate. Text number 16. Vaktum arhasi asesena divyahi atma vibhutaya yabir vibhutibir lokan imam stvam gapya tistasi. Please tell me in detail of your divine opulence by which you pervade all these worlds. See, Arjuna asking good questions. And he always says, please. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In this verse, it appears that Arjuna is already satisfied with his understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. By Krishna's grace, Arjuna has personal experience, intelligence, and knowledge, and whatever else a person may have through all these agencies, and he has understood Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For him, there is no doubt. Yet he is asking Krishna to explain his all-pervading nature. People in general, and the impersonalists in particular, concern themselves mainly with the all-pervading nature of the Supreme. So Arjuna is asking Krishna how he exists in his all-pervading aspect through his different energies. One should know that this is being asked by Arjuna on behalf of the common people. Text 17. Well, ultimately, Krishna is going to show his Virat Rupa form. Not that Arjuna is really interested in it, but just to satisfy the mundaners that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 17. O Krishna, O Supreme Mystic, how shall I constantly think of you? And how shall I know you? In what various forms are you to be remembered, O Supreme Personality of Godhead? Now, that's a very nice verse. So Arjuna wants to know how to address Krishna. As it is stated in the previous chapter, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is covered by his Yoga Maya. Only surrendered souls and devotees can see him. Now Arjuna is convinced that his friend Krishna is the Supreme God. But he wants to know the general process by which the all-pervading Lord can be understood by the common man. Common men, including the demons and atheists, cannot know Krishna because he is guarded by his Yogamaya energy. Again, these questions are asked by Arjuna for their benefit. The superior devotee is concerned not only for his own understanding, but for the understanding of all mankind. So Arjuna, out of his mercy, because he is a Vaishnava, a devotee, is opening for the common man the understanding of the all-pervasiveness of the Supreme Lord. He addresses Krishna specifically as Yogin because Sri Krishna is the master of the Yoga Maya energy, by which he is covered and uncovered to the common man. The common man who has no love for Krishna cannot always think of Krishna. Therefore, he has to think materially. Arjuna is considering the mode of thinking of the materialistic persons of this world. The words kesu kesu jabhavesu refer to material nature. The word bhava means physical things. Because materialists cannot understand Krishna spiritually, they are advised to concentrate the mind on physical things and try to see how Krishna is manifested by physical representations. A very interesting strategy. Okay. All right, we're coming to the end of our time. So, what is our takeaway for today? And it is, one second. Our takeaway for today. Sarvamita Dritam Manye. Yan Mam Vadasi Keshava. Nahite Bhagavan Vyaktim. Vidur Deva Nadanava. This is 10th chapter, 14th verse. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. This is one wonderful statement by Arjuna. And we should hold this statement in our hearts. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. And then the next verse also is very important. Svayam evat manat manam vita tvam purushottama bhuta bhavena bhute sa deva deva jagat pate. Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency, O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe. Do you see how much of a devotee Arjuna is? They're glorifying Krishna with choice statements and poetry, actually. Why? Because he has absolute love for the Lord. And he wants to know as much as possible the glories of the Lord. Therefore, he begins by glorifying the Lord up to his state of consciousness, his ability as a human being. He's trying to understand as much as he can about Krishna. And then he's glorifying the Lord, and then he's waiting to hear from the Lord, who will tell him about his splendorous manifestations, but only those which are prominent. O Arjuna, for my opulence is limitless. Okay, so because Arjuna says, O Janardhan, again, please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I am never satiated in hearing about you, for the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. That's the real, let's say, devotee who speaks like that. Okay. Are there any questions or comments? Any questions or comments? Any questions or comments? Well, our takeaway for today: mental speculation that leads one away from the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a serious sin. And this is from chapter 10, text 15, in the purports. Let me repeat that again. Mental speculation that leads one away from the Supreme Lord is a serious sin, and one who does not know Krishna should not try to comment on the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is the statement of Krishna, and since it is the science of Krishna, it should be understood from Krishna as Arjuna understood it. It should not be received from atheistic persons. So how did Arjuna understand Krishna? Well, Arjuna says, indeed, Krishna, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency. O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe. There you go. That's Arjuna's understanding of Krishna. He's completely surrendered to the Lord, and he's glorifying the Lord wonderfully with love and devotion. That's a real devotee. So, mental speculation that leads one away from the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a serious sin. We should remember that. And Bhagavad Gita should be understood from Krishna as Arjuna understood. So we should follow Arjuna and the way he understands Krishna, that should be our understanding of Krishna. However, by mental speculation, that'll lead us away from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and it becomes a serious sin. These are our takeaways today. Thank you very much, my dear devotees. Are there any questions? Any questions anyone would like to ask? Any questions?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Haribol.
Yeah, Guru Maharaj, in the purport of 15, Sorry, in the
Text
translation
15.
of 15, text 15, Maharaj. Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency, O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe. So, in this one, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency. So, is it here you and yourself is being said like, is it addressing Krishna Maharaj? Guru Maharaj?
Yes.
Okay, so here means we are saying like how would we understand Maharaj? Here, Arjuna's internal potency gave him the Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead.
Okay, so look, Arjuna is the personal friend of Krishna, and he actually has love for the Lord. He's not a speculator. So he not only has love for the Lord, he also has firsthand knowledge of who the Lord is. So therefore, when he speaks about the Lord, you can feel the love and devotion that he has. He doesn't mince his words. He openly says that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. And he's the origin of all, the Lord of all beings, God of gods, the Lord of the universe. And actually, in the purport, Prabhupada says the Supreme Lord Krishna can be known by persons who are in a relationship with him through the discharge of devotional service, like Arjuna and his followers. So that's a very important statement. Arjuna was, along with many others, a devotee of the Lord and an unalloyed devotee. In other words, he has no other thought but to please Krishna by his service to the Lord. So there's no question of mental speculation because that leads one away from the knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it's actually a serious sin to speculate. So if a person doesn't know Krishna, he should try, he should not comment on Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a statement of Krishna, and since it is the science of Krishna, it should be understood from Krishna as Arjuna understood it. It should not be received from atheistic persons or speculators. That is our takeaway for today. Yes, there are many speculators that give all kinds of theories about Krishna, but we should reject them all because they're not actual devotees. They're speculators. They're making up theories. That's not going to help us make spiritual advancement. But if we hear from bona fide experts such as Arjuna, well, Arjuna was a personal friend of Krishna. He was an associate of the Lord. So he actually knows who the Lord is and how to serve the Lord with love and devotion. So we should only hear from Arjuna, nobody else. That's why it says, one who does not know Krishna should not try to comment on Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is the statement of Krishna, and since it is the science of Krishna, it should be understood from Krishna as Arjuna understood it. As Arjuna understood it. It should not be received from atheistic persons. That is our takeaway from today. Any other questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Did Krishna show his universal form to Arjuna to show the rest of us that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, also to prove his point? Thank you.
The answer is yes. Arjuna was not really gung ho about seeing the universal form, but to let's say help those who were skeptical about who Krishna is. That's why he asked Krishna to show his universal form. But he himself was not really interested in seeing the universal form. He was completely enamored of the the form of Krishna as a cowherd boy. He's not interested in Krishna as in the universal form. But in order to overcome the doubts of the Mayavadis, he asked Krishna to show the universal form, his universal form. But when people saw the universal form, he actually Arjuna also, he begged Krishna, okay, now go back to your original form, your two-armed form, because my mind is being bewildered by your universal form. Yeah, how can you develop love and devotion for the universal form of the Lord? Because it's so, let's say, grandiose, it's so big, it's so overwhelming that you cannot see yourself as having a intimate relationship with Krishna in the universal form. But in his original form, it's very easy to have an intense, loving relationship with the Lord. If he's a gigantic personality, how can you have an intimate relationship with him? It's not possible. So therefore, Arjuna only asked Krishna to show his universal form for the benefit of all the Mayavadis and demons and so forth who are not Krishna conscious, to more or less scare them into becoming Krishna conscious. Not scare them, but to teach them that look, this is Krishna is not an ordinary person. But in the case of Arjuna, he was not interested in the universal form. He loved Krishna in his original transcendental form as his friend and his companion. They were intimate friends. That's the way Arjuna wanted to relate to Krishna. Okay, well, thank you very much, my dear devotees. I think we've come to the end. And I think I'm going to go to the temple now. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Maha Mantra Ki Jai.